Okay. Speaker spotlight. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the March Empowered Woman Speaker Series. Discover your confident, worthy, powerful you. I'm super excited for you guys to be here. This is like our sixth month, I think, of doing this, so it's very exciting. So we're going to be here today for 90 minutes to be inspired, empowered, uplifted, and transform limiting beliefs and fears into new beliefs that will take you to the next level in your life and business. We have some incredible speakers today. We're going to have to move fairly quickly through everybody because we got 20 minutes of speaking for each person and an hour and a half to do it. So we got to go quickly. But if you have any questions or if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the chat section and then the speakers can answer them there. And the speaker lineup for today, I'm very excited. We have Gina Macaluso. She'll be talking about the hidden secrets of mindset magic. And then we will have Philippa Bagley, who will be talking about the power of subconscious healing, transforming anxiety and stress into empowerment. And then I'll be speaking about how to be the light, how to boldly make your impact during challenging times. And Jackie Cote will be speaking about how to awaken, empower, and own you. I'm super excited for everyone to hear everyone's talks today. And just so everyone knows, we are on Zoom live and we're also on Facebook live. So if you're watching here on Zoom, I'm going to give you a link. If you would mind, if you would go to my profile where it's live and actually share it from there too, if you would be so kind, then that way we get our voices to more people. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, I just put the links in the chat. So go to my Facebook page and click the share button so that we can share out to as many people as possible. And then also, if you're not yet in the Facebook community, the Confident Woman community, I'd love to have you there. And the link is also in the chat. And that's it. So without further ado, I'm super excited to introduce to you Gina Macaluso. The topic is the hidden secrets of mindset magic. And I'm going to make her the speaker in just 1 second. I'll read her bio. Gina Macaluso is a passionate mindset and business coach with over 15 years of experience transforming businesses and lives. She helps entrepreneurs overcome challenges, achieve tangible success, and build businesses. Gina's unique magic notebook, which I'm very excited for you all to hear about, process guides clients to unlock their mindset's potential, while her expertise in systems, branding, and marketing provides the actionable strategies to fuel business growth and personal freedom. Okay, Gina, take it away.
Buddy, how are you doing?
Yay.
Awesome. Oh, you guys are all muted. Okay. No problem. You can raise your hand if you have a reaction. How about that? Well, I'm excited to share with you today the magic of mindset. I've been studying mindset for so long. And oh, did I hear something there? Okay. So long, and I'm really excited about the results that I've seen and the changes when I implemented mindset into my business consulting. So first, I'm going to share with you what we're going to talk about today. All right. So this is my success mindset checklist. And this really helps fuel your passion and fulfill your dreams. Mindset is everything. That's my logo right here. Um, I've been coaching for a long time, and I started out with systems and branding and really focusing actually on marketing. Market this, market that, right? It's all about marketing. But really what I noticed was a pattern emerging with my clients that every time I talked about their challenges, whether it was marketing or hiring people, like staffing issues, if they had anything with like cash flow issues, it really did come back to mindset. And for years, while I was doing business consulting, I was doing my own mindset work. Okay, I first started studying mindset in 2003 when I went to a hypnotherapist to erase my mind and become someone else. Because I had some low self-esteem. And my wonderful spirit mother, who's part of my world, part of my heart now, I imagine her like patting me on the head, going, "Okay, dear." That's not quite how it works, but she opened up this wonderful world of mindset and the subconscious to me. And since then, I've been studying it and embracing it and implementing different techniques and tools into my own life, both for personal and business strategies. And so, as I was doing this coaching and helping market my business clients, I was utilizing my own magic notebook. It's a writing process that helps shift your mindset to look at more of the solutions to your problems versus focusing on those problems. And when you are solution or results, uh, your mindset's focused on solutions and results, the other stuff kind of starts to fade away, and you really just move forward more easily and with more joy. And that's what it's all about. So when I noticed the patterns with myself and what I was doing with my mindset, was sitting there. Actually, Erin knows Lori. I was sitting there with a really good friend of mine, and I'm like, wait, why am I not doing this with my clients? And she's like, I don't know. Why not? And so from then, I think it was about 2014. So it's been quite a while that I started utilizing mindset and subconscious techniques into my business consulting. And when I did, the results that I got with my clients were phenomenal. And most importantly, I saw more joy and more physical changes when I would work with people. Meaning, like, I walk into the room and somebody's kind of like, hunched, like you can just picture it, you're just hunched over, or like hiding, And by the time I was done, whether it was on Zoom or in person, like they're like excited, they're sitting up straight, they're smiling, they're bright, their posture's different. They just like they're just exuding joy, right? And that is one of the reasons that I do what I do, to help people find joy and happiness in the work that they're doing. Because like me, I'm sure that your work is your passion. You're helping people, you're serving others, and you just get so much out of seeing people change for the better. So, me too. And this is how I do it. So I'm going to share a little bit with you today. We're going to go through my checklist, and we're going to go through an exercise, and you're going to see something shift inside yourself. Okay, it's a little dabble into the magic notebook, a little bit of that process. So I just want to first show that we've kind of already established you are not alone. You might be thinking sometimes that you are fairly isolated. We're probably all entrepreneurs or solopreneurs working out of our homes by ourselves. You might have staff members or like assistants, but there's a lot of times, and Jackie out there, really out there, right? In Colorado, like you're out there by yourself, but you're really not alone. You've got all of us supporting you. And so much so, recently I started a YouTube channel. It has not launched, it's going to launch soon, called The Business Bench, where we come together, we talk about business stuff, we talk about mindset, systems, branding, marketing, we talk about all the things. And it's there to support each other. And this is very key because this aloneness, this isolation, it'll slip in when you least expect it. So if you find yourself not taking action, if you find yourself kind of like unmotivated or not taking quick enough action, right? Like, oh, I'm not really where I want to be. Take a look at your interactions with the people that support you and the people that surround you, the people that love you. And really think like, am I reaching out? Am I connecting? Am I utilizing the resources that I have? And make sure that you are. So we're going to go through a very powerful two-step process here. And you can jot this stuff down if you would like. So my screen keeps moving on me. Sorry. You can jot your answers down or you can think through this. Oh, well. It's up to you. Now, if you want this PDF, this is part of my newsletter. Uh, I can email this to everyone if Erin wants. We can email this out, or you can go to allaboutmindset.com and sign up for the newsletter. The great thing about that is it'll email this checklist to you, and then the following email series dives into the science behind this work and talks more about the insights that you can get just from this one small checklist. So that's up to you. We're going to go through it together today. All right. So part one. Check all that apply or think to yourself, do any of these sound familiar? I'm worn out trying to do everything myself. And you can like raise your hand, we can interact if you like. Yeah, me. I'm making some profit, but I'm not where I want to be. Yeah. I'm selling, but often it's still in the red. Most clients don't come back for more. I'm not sure why. I'm not making fast enough progress towards my dreams and goals. I'm overwhelmed and not sure what to do next to feel better and increase profits. At times, I feel alone with no one on my side cheering me along. I'm not sure I want to keep doing what I'm doing. Ooh, that one sneaks in. I should just go get a job. Ever thought that? Yesterday? Oh, right? Like, no, we can do this. The workplace feels unkempt or hectic at times. I don't feel motivated to push forward in my work. So did anyone resonate with any of those? Right? I saw some heads nod. Yeah. From time to time, you're going to feel this. And what's great is like you can go through this today and then next week, and it's going to be different. So it's cool to like pull this out and really like see where you're at any moment. All right. Now, this could like make you feel like crap though. And the really important thing is we don't stop here. We're going to tackle some of these items and we're going to hopefully change some of the way you feel and the way you look at these things today. So let's do that. It's important to look at the fundamentals of mindset. All right. So mindset, how you think, what you think about, it affects everything in your business and your life. A lot of people are talking about this, but they're not really talking about like how to use it. Like mindset, right? We know the word, but what do you do about it? How do you make those crucial shifts in your mindset to move forward and get what you want out of the work that you're doing? That's the key here. All right. So there are four different categories to success mindset: mission, money, action, and motivation. We kind of talked about that already, right? That action and motivation. Money has a lot to do with it. Something that a lot of people skip over or skim over is that mission mindset. And this is the magic I want to talk to you about, those hidden secrets. There are a lot of them. Today, we're going to cover mission mindset. And that is what you believe about your mission, your why, and how it's portrayed to others. So let's talk about that. What is your why? Do you have a mission statement? Do you know why you're doing all the crazy things you're doing? Do you guys know that you are some really powerful people in this world? There are not many people doing what we're doing. Yes, Jackie, yes. Like seriously, we have to celebrate this because this is scary. Who do you know will get on a Zoom and talk and or even attend a Zoom about empowering women, right? Like this is a rare thing. And to be business owners, entrepreneurs out in the world sharing your mission with other people, it is a rare thing. And what's important is that you do this consistently. So you are sharing not just with your marketing, but you're sharing your mission and your why with yourself on a daily basis. You're reminding yourself. You're sharing it with any staff. That's a key one. People who have staff members, they often forget to share the mission and the why of the business with staff. And of course, our clients. Are you consistently sharing your passion, your mission with your clients? So your why is a very, very powerful aspect of your business. And it's the underlying reason you do what you do. It's not money. Money is definitely part of it, right? We're in business, we work for money, monetary reasons, but we don't do exactly what we do because it like pays us $1 million a week, right? We do what we do because we have a mission and we have a purpose to share with others. So think deep about that purpose in your business. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper now. And you're going to write down. So hopefully you got some paper and pens or pencils, whatever you use, crayons, markers. And we're going to dive into how to construct a mission statement. So mission mindset. What services, like what do you do? First, write that down. Like what services or products do you provide? What results do your clients experience? What do they get out of your work? And then if we have the opportunity to unmute people, I would love people to like share like what it is they do. We heard from a few of us, but it'd be fun to like, what do you do? Erin.
I'll go.
Right.
And anyone can feel free to unmute themselves to share. I personally love empowering women to transform their confidence. So I came from being very shy, so I love helping women to be more confident, to be more, see their worth more and their value, and to share that with the world.
Nice. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else want to share? What do you do? What do your clients get out of your work? Jackie.
Yeah, the title of what I'm going to be talking about today is pretty much, I love awakening women in their vision, helping them empower who they are and own themselves unapologetically in this world. From that place of being, I think for many years I thought I was going to be like the strategy girl because I came from 30 years in the restaurant industry, and then I ended up going, oh, wait, hold on. It's owning who you are. It's peeling back all the layers and really stepping into that true version so you could hear that inner knowing of and actually listen to it. How many
Yeah.
years did we have that inner knowing we didn't listen to it? So I love watching that aha when a woman gets to that place. You're like, oh, yes.
Cool. I love it. Yay. Thank you. Anyone else want to share? Jackie?
Um, well, I'm disabled, which is kind of neither here nor there. So, but life is a challenge anyway. But I have two businesses, a doggy daycare facility and several employees, a vacation rental. I'm a reviewer on Nextdoor, a meetup organizer, other things too. So I keep real busy. But the whole confidence thing, and you mentioned something about shyness, and I'm very, very shy. And again, my age, pushing 70, I consider myself to be semi-retired, but I work from home a lot, but yet I work
Yeah.
all the time. So, and I, I've been getting pushback from my employees,
Oh,
and
all
over the
right.
last, what's that?
We're going to talk about that.
Oh, it's just been
May I ask,
unbelievable. And sorry, what?
may I ask with your employees, which business is that? Is that the
That's the
day?
doggy daycare. And the vacation rental, that's a whole different ball of
What can
wax.
I ask?
But anyway, I'm always stressed. Oh, I'm sorry, what?
What's the like purpose or mission for that doggy daycare?
Well, see, we used to have boarding and we discontinued that, open on the weekends and now just Monday through Friday. But the mission statement, really, that's a good question as far as a definitive one. But, we're pretty busy, pretty
Okay.
popular overall. But for the dogs to be happy, we incorporate a lot of activities throughout the day and several play areas. And so that the dogs are happy, safe, their well-being.
So let's do this. Let's continue. I'm going to help you create that mission statement so it's clear, concise, catchy, and depicts what you want your clients to feel. Sound good?
Yes.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And we've got a couple other people. Do you want to share real quickly? Then we'll continue with the next step. And if not, I can keep going.
Yeah, you've got a little less than four
Okay.
minutes, Gina. So
All
let's
right.
keep
No
going.
problem.
Yeah. And
All right.
everyone,
So
if you have a question, you can type it in the comments.
perfect. All right. So we establish like what we want our clients to feel, right? And so what popped in my mind for the doggy daycare is you want those tails to be wagging as brightly as their owner's smiles, right? Like how cool is that? You want to depict happiness, joy, and those tails and butts just wiggling as fast as possible. So that's what popped in my mind. All right. So once you get what are your clients experience, what are the results? You go down and you say, how do you feel when you hear about your client's experience? This is going to get you to your core of why you're doing what you're doing. What change, what feeling do you get in the center of your heart when that result happens? When you see those little butts waggling back and forth and those tails waggling super fast, right? What do you see when you see a woman embrace their power and transform? What do you feel? Can you remember the last client who shared their positive feedback with you? Someone just popped in everybody's mind. So think of that client. Now you're going to the next one. What is the purpose or reason you do what you do? What drives you to continue? Some of these overlap and you're just brainstorming, you're writing stuff down. Now, why do you earn money? To put in your bank account? Probably not. Some people, yes. I have a couple of financial advisors. They're like, yeah. Like, okay, why do you want it in your bank account? Why do you want that, whatever amount it is? What is the reason? Usually comes back to family, supporting yourself, providing experiences, living the life you want. So, what's it for? Who's it supporting? Why choose a business versus a job? Freedom, passion. What impact would decreasing and increasing your income have on you and your family? Okay, so once you establish all these things, you take the answers and you plug them into a really cool little fill in the blank. And I'm going to give you my example. So I, your name, serve, who are your clients? I do this by, what do you do? What do you provide? I do this work in order to, why you do what you do, what do your clients get out of your work, what do you get out of your work? So here's mine. I, Gina Macaluso, serve purpose-driven business owners who make a positive impact on the lives of those they serve. I do this by teaching them how to harness the power of mindset and achieve lasting joy and success and find peace in a chaotic world. I do this work in order to fulfill my life's purpose of helping others be healthy, happy, and achieve levels of self-belief and self-love. I do this work in honor of those I've lost to suicide and to provide myself the flexibility to set my own hours to be with and support my family and friends. It's powerful, it's meaningful. And I talk about this when I share my work with other people. So with all of this creating your mission, make sure you're using this language. Make sure that you're posting this in your marketing. Make sure that your clients are feeling your why in everything that you do. When you focus on that, your mindset starts to shift and the mindset of your clients will too. And you'll make an even bigger impact.
Yay, thank you. That was
Oh.
amazing. That was amazing. If anyone has any comments or questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. And Gina, share your link in the chat too to your free gift. Is the gift the PDF that you shared?
It's sign up for the newsletter and it'll be emailed to you directly.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, put that link in there and then everyone can go grab that too. Thank you so much, Gina. That was awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna put me back on spotlight here. All right, so we're gonna have Philippa next. So Philippa Bagley, she's gonna be talking about the power of subconscious healing, transforming anxiety and stress into empowerment. Philippa is a dedicated psychotherapist with over 40 years of life experience and a deep understanding of mental health challenges. Inspired by her military career, where she witnessed the mental health struggles of veterans, and further motivated by the widespread challenges highlighted during the COVID-19 pandemic, Philippa decided to dedicate her career to making a meaningful impact on others. She specializes in helping individuals overcome obstacles and reach their highest potential, however they define it. With extensive qualifications and a broad range of experience working across different cultures and environments, including Australia, Hawaii, Canada, and the UK, Philippa has successfully addressed complex issues such as domestic abuse, sexual abuse, PTSD, anxiety, extreme phobias, and suicide. As a guest speaker, Philippa brings a wealth of knowledge, practical insights, and a unique perspective on mental health, personal growth, and resilience, connecting with diverse audiences to offer actionable and impactful advice. Yay, I'm so excited for this. Okay, Philippa, take it away.
Thank you so much, Erin. First of all, can you hear me okay? Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you all ever so much. Gina, I love what you just did, so I'm really hopeful we can build on that with some other stuff around mindset. So as Erin kindly introduced me, I'm a psychotherapist. I deal with clinical hypnotherapy and also NLP and a range of neuroscience techniques. And the reason I'd like to talk about anxiety and stress is because it's something that is universal to all of us. There is no one alive who hasn't experienced these things at some point. But the challenge of today, and particularly with the world, the modern world, is whereas in the past our stress was caused by things that were basically trying to actually kill us. Now our brain just thinks things like too many emails is trying to kill us. And for some people, that can result in a real paralysis of decision, of overwhelm, of just not being able to move forward. And it doesn't have to be that way for anybody. So I'm really keen to help you if you feel that way, or even just to give you the tools in case you ever feel that way. So to start off with, first of all, I was going to teach you about the brain very quickly. I have my little brain here, if you can see it. You didn't know we're going to have a neuroscience lesson. The reason this is important to understand is what goes on in everyone's brain, regardless. So whenever we get any kind of stimulus, what happens is it comes into the center of the brain here, into a part of the brain called the thalamus. And that sends a message up to your intelligent brain and down to your emotional brain. Now, without fail, for all of us, your first response will be an emotional one. And that is normal. Now, in most situations, we'll take an example of, seeing a spider. Now, whether or not you have a phobia of a spider, you see a spider, you might jump because they move fast, they catch your eye, and it surprises you. Your emotion brain goes, "Ooh, let's jump. Is it a threat?" Now, for most of us who don't have an actual phobia, what then happens? Your intelligent brain goes, it is just a spider. Yes, it made me jump, but I'm okay. Carry on. Now, in the instances of severe phobia, or in this case, anxiety and stress, what happens over time is although you still get those two responses, you get your emotional response and your intelligent response, but over time with increased anxiety, increased stress, increased phobia, that intelligent response stops getting through. And so you move into that state of fear, and that's in the bit that many people know about called the amygdala, which is your fight or flight response. Or some of you will have heard fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. These are all responses that your brain is taking on to try and save you. Now, with stress, it often is a freeze, an overwhelm. It can be an emotional or physiological response. But the important thing to know is that with all of this, you can change it. And you can change it very simply. And you can get it back. And the reason I do the science lesson first is you're always going to have an emotional response to something. And that is absolutely normal. And never, feel bad that you do that. But you don't have to be stuck in that place. And that's what I want to bring you around today. So by rewiring the brain, rewiring our responses, we can turn that stress into empowerment. We can really shift the perspective of each situation we meet and turn it to our advantage. The other reason for doing this as well, of course, is chronic stress weakens our rational thinking. It also can affect our physiological health. You start to see people with, I always talk about stomach ache is a common one with me. Used to get with stress. Like I always had a tummy ache, and really it's just a case of me going, I don't know what's wrong, but like I feel like if I talk about my tummy, it makes sense. It's something you can give shape to. Whereas when you're trying to articulate how stress is affecting you, you can't always do it, but it does. And stress is a killer. And that's the thing people forget is stress is a massive killer. Now, there's a thing called neuroplasticity, which is basically how the brain can rewire itself. And in the past, we used to think that our behaviors were fixed. We thought we became adults and that was it. Old dogs can't learn new tricks. Because we've discovered through neuroscience, neuroplasticity, we know that we can all change our brains at any point in in our lives with intentional practice. And there are some really simple techniques that probably many of you have even heard of already that will help us do that. I'll sort of four of the most common ones are mindfulness. You've got cognitive restructuring, which is replacing fear-based thoughts with empowering ones. Visualizations and mental rehearsals, again, similar to what Gina was just talking about as well. But that strengthens new neural pathways, and also breath work and relaxation techniques, because these activate what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. And we have two nervous systems. We have the sympathetic one, which is not what it sounds like, and the parasympathetic one. When you're in the sympathetic nervous system, you are in your place of stress. But when you're in your parasympathetic, you are not. And the two cannot operate at the same time. So all we're trying to do with all of this is shift to our parasympathetic. So how do we do this? The power of subconscious mind. 95% of our thoughts and behaviors are driven by subconscious programming. This means that we're not even in control of our responses when we react. I mean, that goes back to that whole emotional brain kicking in. This is an instinctive response we have, first of all. So one of the greatest tools that I use is the combination of hypnosis and NLP. And the reason for using those is they directly access and reprogram those subconscious beliefs. And old limiting beliefs can be replaced with empowering, confidence building beliefs. With hypnosis, and some of you may have experienced it yourself, some of you may have just seen stage hypnosis. With clinical hypnosis, which is what I'm talking about here, first of all, it's a really relaxing thing. It's very stress-free. You're in total control the whole time. You will never be made to cluck like a chicken, because sadly there is no therapeutic application in doing that. And personal amusement is not really allowed in that environment. But essentially, it is, if you ever consider yourself when you drive a car somewhere and you forget suddenly how you've got to the junction you're at, that is a form of trance. That is a form of self-hypnosis. And so we all can get ourselves into this state, this trance state. And the reason I'm such a hypnosis proponent is because it's so gentle. It's almost so passive, because you just lie there or sit there and don't listen. But gently, it helps to reprogram those neural pathways. And you can absolutely get a self-hypnosis track and listen to it. And over time, it will do the work for you. The other thing is around neuro-linguistic programming. And there's three main aspects of that I love for this kind of work, which is reframing, so changing the meaning of the stressors into opportunities. Anchoring, so looking at how you link positive emotions to triggers for instant confidence. And also looking at your language patterns and reshaping that internal dialogue that we have to be empowering. And this is where language is so important, because if you think about some of the things you say to yourself about yourself, you would never say that to anybody else. You would never. And yet we are just the worst with ourselves. We are the most critical, the most judgmental. But this doesn't do us any favors. You know, we've all got to stop doing that. And I'll tell you what, women are also the worst. We absolutely are, and we are our own worst enemies. But I think women, because of the societal pressures that women have, we tend to find that we are the most judgmental, because society judges us a lot anyway. So why don't we add to that burden by doing it to ourselves? It's a terrible practice we've all got into. So things you can do really easily today is just finding some self-hypnosis tracks that help guide and relax and visualization. The other thing is thinking about how your body reacts to these situations. So as I said earlier, you are affected physiologically. Your body is affected by stress. And anxiety isn't just in the mind, it's stored in the body. One common side effect of increased sustained stress is actually weight gain and the inability to lead it no matter what you do. You know, and I'm sure many of us have experienced this, because again, we're women, that, you know, you put on weight in some way, shape or form, and it won't shift. But then actually it won't shift because you're dealing with the kids, with work, with your business, with the dog, with the guy down the road who for some reason thinks you're his mum. Like, it all just adds up, and you can't let go of it because it's stored in your body and it has to go somewhere. In addition to that, any sort of unprocessed emotions from past experiences can also create these subconscious patterns. And so there's a great book I recommend called The Body Keeps the Score. It's quite an intense book, but it does talk about this in a lot more information. But the main point here is just be aware of how stressed you are, because it will affect not just your reactions, but also your physical health as well. And we forget this. And so there's one technique I'm going to go through quickly today, which is all around just a simple grounding technique. And I won't make you do it, but I'll tell you it because, well, you can do it if you want, but you'd have to leave the computers and walk away, and that would ruin the whole presentation. Um, there's a simple technique called grounding. Uh, Grounding is very simply walking barefoot and taking deep breathing, deep awareness of what's going on. It kind of combines a bit of mindfulness with being in the present and this thing called grounding. And there's lots of science behind grounding I'm not going to go into. Oh, Jackie, absolutely love grounding. Perfect. But if you're not doing it, I really recommend just giving it, 5 minutes a day. Because if you've got a backyard, you can walk in. It's nicer on grass or sand. I'm not going to lie, pavement isn't the most fun to walk on barefoot. But the main thing is you are just reconnecting your body. And for those of you who are into things like reflexology, again, there's all these links between your feet and other parts of your body. So what you're doing is really just finding that center of you, reconnecting yourself from the top to the bottom with the earth. And this is why doing it on grass or sand is really helpful. But anyone can do that at any point. So grounding is something I really recommend. The next one is journaling. And again, not everyone's a writer, but there is because it's a physical action, if you actually write rather than type or do a voice note, there's a whole psychology and neuroscience around the connection of the writing to release those emotions. So even if you just did a 3-line journal a day, then the physical act of writing actually helps you to release that stress. And it's amazing. And again, these things, like all things, are good the more you do them, the easier they get. And the last one is thinking about practicing self-compassion, just to rewire that self-talk and self-worth. As I said, we are the worst critics of ourselves. But if you can, and again, it's hard because when it's on our own heads particularly, like there's no filter around what we're saying to ourselves, but just practicing that self-compassion, going, why did I say this? Would I say this to somebody else? If I would, is that who I want to be? And just gently shift a word here, shift a thought there. And people talk about affirmations. Now, there's again a whole psychology around affirmations as well. But the main thing is, with affirmations, with anything about practicing self-compassion, you will always meet resistance when you first do it. And people often give up at the point of resistance because it is hard, because you are fighting with your neuro pathways. You are creating a new habit. And so what you have to do is keep going until you no longer realize you're doing it. And that there's no set time for that. If you combine it with things like journaling, with clinical therapy, with all the rest of it, it gets faster. But ultimately, just like my Duolingo streak, like I used to have to remember to do it, and now I just do it every day. And I don't congratulate myself anymore. And I'm on day 1,576 or something crazy because it's just become such a habit. But it's the same with this self-compassion. Is when you start out, you will fight it. Your brain will go, I don't deserve to say that. I shouldn't say that. Well, who am I? And you have to really keep at this for your own good because you deserve it. And so why not? Then it's a really easy thing to do. The other thing we want to talk about is just changing your perspective on stress. So we always assume that stress is a bad thing, but stress is actually can be a positive thing. I mean, again, I was in the army in the UK. I studied in Afghanistan. I tell you what, a little bit of stress in the war zone keeps you very focused. I wouldn't recommend that as a daily habit either, but it's understanding that stress is just designed to protect you so you can control how and when you use it. We can also interpret you can also decide how you interpret stress. And the other thing is the chemicals that are produced by stress are the same chemicals that are produced by excitement. So sometimes we can trick our minds and go, I'm not stressed, I'm excited. If you think about one of the biggest phobias in the world, public speaking, if you can just convince yourself that you're not nervous, you're excited, it shifts everything. And it's the same chemicals, but the effect they have on you is very different. And we are able to lie to ourselves because our brain doesn't actually know what's real or what's not. If you think about a dream where you've woken up and in my case, really annoyed at my husband for something in a dream that felt really real, then realize about 2 hours later it was just a dream, but I can't let go of being grumpy at him. the brain doesn't know that it wasn't real. It seems so real. So this is the power of new of neuroplasticity and of the neuroscience, which is we can basically lie to ourselves to train our brain into a way that it goes, oh, this is the normal. I'm not stressed. I'm excited. See that spider over there? I love that guy. It's all possible. The other thing is viewing stress as a challenge rather than a threat. We always think that if I'm stressed, it means it's going to be something difficult to overcome. But a lot of athletes view stress as a challenge for them to push them forward. And if you look at people, I'm sure you all know Simone Biles, and she's awesome. She talked very openly about her the twisties she's had to overcome, and this is the mental block where the brain just loses track of the body and makes it dangerous to perform. So she worked with sports science psychologists using cognitive restructuring and guided hypnosis to process that. She did a lot of other stuff as well. But in this case, instead of pushing through the fear, she paused. She focused on healing the subconscious patterns and then later returned. I think that's one of the really important lessons she taught people as well, which is it is okay to stop, take a break, reassess, and come back. Another person who's done similar things is if you follow tennis, Novak Djokovic. He uses a lot of NLP and stress work. So he reframed the negative self-talk using NLP. He practiced breath work and meditation to regulate his nervous system. And he also used anchoring techniques to sort of identify trigger confidence matches in his games. And if you watch him play, I think he's just recently retired, maybe he'll come out to, before serving, he takes a deep, deep breath. And again, that fills your diaphragm up, but also it shifts from fight or flight to that calm, focused state. He uses anchors. So if you watch him, he'll often clench his fist and say, it looks like he's sort of internally saying stuff. And instead of seeing stress as a problem, he embraces the pressure as a sign of readiness. So if you train the subconscious with language, with breath, with anchoring, just allows for emotional control in any situation. So because I'm conscious of time, just checking my time, 3 minutes. So really what I'd say is the things that you can do easily today on your own without needing to go anywhere else is think about those deep breaths, think about grounding, think also about journaling, if that's something that really will help you, but make sure you are writing. And maybe if you catch yourself with your negative thoughts, I would say write them down, first of all. Then on another piece of paper, write down the positive opposite. If it's I'm a terrible mum, I'm a great mum, keep doing that. And then when you've done that, rip up the bad stuff. You don't need it. If you want to have a fire, burn them. Oh, we love a bit of fire. Do whatever you need to do just to clear it out. But then focus on those good ones moving forward. And just remember that you are none of the bad things. None of us are. We are just our own worst critics. And each day focus on those good things. If you catch yourself again with a negative one, write it down, do the opposite, turn it away again. And over time, it just slowly erases and retrains our brain so that our subconscious sees the positive. So the stress is no longer overwhelming us. And so we start to get more excited around the opportunity of whatever we want to do. And the other one, as I said, was grounding, taking your shoes off, walking around outside on sand, on grass, and anywhere that you can really just get that connection back with the earth. And the last thing I haven't really talked about is a digital detox as well. All we're trying to do with all these things is create the space for your brain to relax. And with the overwhelm of digital lives that we all have, it has been bombarded constantly with data points. I think there's a scary statistic. I think 30 years ago, it was like 68,000 data points a day, and now it's in the millions. You think about this, no wonder we're all stressed. There is no downtime. You can trick your brain, you can rewire it, you can make it better, absolutely, but you still deserve to have those downtime moments, to have that switch off, to have that time for you, no matter what the situation is. And it's just important that we get into a habit of recognizing that if we want to live until we're 175, I think is the current going rate in America, then just be kind to ourselves. Make sure that you are taking the time to create that space. And in turn, you'll see the domino effect or the snowball effect of suddenly the stress gets less or it gets reframed and you stop it stopping you and allow it to empower you to move over. And I think that is pretty much it. I've got 30 seconds, so I'll just refresh from the steps. Grounding, take off your shoes and walk around for a bit. Journaling, physically writing, affirmations, but make sure they are contrary to what you're telling yourself, so you're really rewiring it. Self-hypnosis is great. NLP is also great. And now I've lost where I was, but I think that's it. So I'm just going to stop now. 8 seconds. Thank you all so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was awesome. And make sure to put your free gift, the link to your free gift or whatever you're giving in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone can get that.
I'm going to put my email in. So basically, I've got a new community. I want to have people in it just to try it out. So I'm going to give them one sort of 3 months free access to the community to play around and see what's good and what doesn't work. That's okay, everybody.
Awesome. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks, everyone.
Put your email in the chat and let them tell them too in the chat what they're going to get, just so they remember.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. It's my turn. So I'm going to be talking about how to be the light today. So let me grab my notes. And don't forget to turn the timer on for myself. Okay. All the little things. And I realized while Philippa was talking that I had shared the on Facebook as friends only. I thought it was public, but it was friends only. So I changed it to public. So if you weren't able to share it before, please make sure to go to the Facebook to my profile. I put the link in the chat so that you can share this live with as many people as we can get it to, because I want to make sure to empower as many women as we can today. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about how to be the light, to share your gifts with the world. And, we're in some challenging times right now. And so I just want to share about how to be able to share your own light and your message with the world. So first I want to start by saying that the light you see in others is a reflection of the light that is within you. I'll say that again. The light you see in others is a reflection of the light that is within you already. If you spot it, you got it, right? So if we see something awesome in someone else, it's because it's already in us too. You can't see something in somebody else unless it's in you first. So light and confidence go hand in hand. The more confident you are, the more light you're going to be able to share with the world. Okay. So this is a time in history where your light is so needed right now to uplift and empower others. Okay. Your confidence, your message is more important than ever. And it's even more important when there's times of struggle in the world, right? So I want you to ask yourself, how can I share my light? How can I share my light? And I'll share a little later a few things that I've done in the past to help share my light and my love with the world. But this time in history is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity to serve. It's an opportunity to grow yourself and your business if you have one. Leaders are born in times of crisis, right? Leadership requires confidence. So think about it. How often do you see someone who's super confident? They radiate and shine, right? They walk into the room and they light up the room. And when you see someone growing themselves over time, they might not be super confident at first, but as they grow their confidence, as they step more into their worth, more into their power, their light grows brighter. Yes? Yeah? So they have a certain look about them, right? They have this glow. People are drawn to them. They're like a magnet, right? They just draw people to them. And I want that to be you too. Okay. So very quickly, I share my story every time because it's important for you to know how I became a confidence coach. But I'm just going to share the very short version. I used to be very shy. But my whole life, I knew that I was put on the planet for a reason. Like I always knew I'm here for some reason. I want to make a difference, but I wasn't sure what that was for a really long time. Long story short, I learned about coaching years ago, fell in love with it, and decided that I really wanted to be a coach and landed on being a confidence coach because I needed more confidence. I needed find my own worth and my value. And so now that I see that in myself, and it's a constant evolving process, right? There's ups and downs that we're constantly evolving. There's never like, I've arrived, I'm perfect now. Like I'm always confident. That's an ever evolving process. But I've done so much work on myself to be able to help more people, right? And you can do that too. It doesn't matter how shy you are. If you're an introvert, I'm an introvert too. But we can make that difference no matter who we are, where we've come from. We can keep growing, right? So as I've grown my own confidence, I've noticed that I've become more magnetic. It's easier to get clients. It's easier to get people on things like this event. I create and attract more amazing friends, right? Make more impact, have more joy. So it's time for you to grow and glow, to be a magnet, right? No more shrinking. This is not a time to draw back in fear. This is not a time to be shrinking. This is a time to spread your light, to uplift and empower others. And your confidence and message is extremely, extremely important right now. Okay, and there's a lot of people in the world that are suffering and they need what you've got right now. You know, I mean, just think about just the two people we've already heard from, right? Like the two of you have shared so much about how to grow ourselves, how to make a difference for other people. And I know Jackie's going to share that too. All of us here have a message to share. Okay. And it might be, you might not even have a business or you might not be a speaker. It might be just like who you are as a person, you know, helping your friends, helping your family, helping strangers. So this is a time to be a beacon of light. The world needs leaders to step up right now and to make an impact. So I want to hear from you in the chat. Comment impact if you're here on the planet to make an impact. Let me pull the chat up too because I can't see it. So I believe this is really an opportunity for your own growth and to get that people need clarity and confidence from their leaders, right? This is a time for you to show up more powerfully. Yes, impact. Yeah. Yeah, Kat, the world vibrates at an energy level of fear right now. Yes, it will all take all of us to and everyone to raise that energy. Yes, absolutely. So when people are afraid, they're seeking confidence. They're seeking clarity from their leaders, right? We want to see our leaders be confident, and people want to see that from us. We give hope and light through the darkness with our light. So I want us all to be the light people are seeking, be that lighthouse. So ask yourself, how can I share my light? What can I bring to the world right now, to my communities right now? Whether that's in person, online, what do I have to bring? How can I share my light, my gifts? And years ago, when COVID started, I put together a free video series, how to stay confident through any challenge. And I thought that would be a good thing to share with you guys today. So I'll share the link at the end on how to get that, but it's 8 videos all about how to build your confidence and share your light more. So I want to share with you a few steps on how to share your light. So the first thing to do is to ask yourself, what message is in your heart that you want to share? Because I want you to know that whatever message is in your heart, you are good enough to share it. We often hold back out of fear. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say, right? And that message isn't good enough. I don't know enough. I don't have enough value to bring. I'm just going to stay quiet, right? No, you are good enough, and the world needs to hear what you have to say. So stop holding back in fear and spread that message to those who hear it. And that reminds me of Philippa with the spider, right? Like it can feel like a giant spider's like right here when we're trying to share a message, but it's like so scary, right? To get out there and to share our message. But let's try to shift that fear into empowerment, okay, into confidence. Because you are the energy of love, you're the energy of light. That's the truth of who you are. There's thousands of people out there who are dying to hear what you have to say. People need you right now. They need all of us right now. So if you aren't sharing your message on your heart, if you're keeping it to yourself and holding back, I want you to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What's stopping you? Is there a limiting belief? Is there a fear? Is it somebody else's belief? I hear a lot from clients, like they think that they have this belief, and they do, but it turns out it came from somebody else, right? Like a spouse, a family member, and they carry that around for decades, not realizing that that's not the real reality of life. It's just something that somebody fed them many years ago, and it became their belief. So what's stopping you? When we hold ourselves back from what we truly want, often it's because of fear. A fear that we're not enough, a fear that we don't have enough value, that our message isn't good enough to share, that it's not perfect enough. Anybody else suffer from perfectionism? Yeah, I'm recovering perfectionist for sure. I'm a Virgo, so it's kind of like inherently in me, and an only child. But I am working very hard on recovering from this perfectionist and just getting things done. But you might have a fear of not being perfect. Jackie says fear of being ridiculed. Yeah. So fear of not enough. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. It's all been said before. No, you have a message to share, and it's very important that you do so. You might need to build your confidence in order to be able to share your message. You might have to create new empowering beliefs. You might have to do some hypnotherapy, like Philippa was talking about. You might have to dig really deep and uncover these old limiting beliefs, these old fears, these old blocks, and build your belief in yourself and build that belief in your message. Fear I'll blow it. Yeah. So, have you ever seen anyone who's not confident, who's out there sharing their message and making a big impact? Probably not, right? Like those people, the people who are movers and shakers and doing their thing and making an impact, are the ones who are confident. So if you're feeling shy, if you're feeling scared, if you're having those beliefs, the key is to start building your confidence. Start putting yourself out there, right? So one other thing is to let your passions inspire you. Ask yourself what lights you up. What inspires me? Who inspires me? Maybe it's a person. And maybe you see them doing their thing, making videos or speaking or volunteering. Maybe they light you up. Maybe they inspire you to do your thing. Yeah. So I personally, I'm really passionate about helping women, supporting women to let go of that junk in their brain, right? Like they're constantly like nagging on themselves, that we talked about earlier, that we're all our own worst enemy, right? That voice in our head that holds us back, keeps us playing small, keeps us in our fears, steals our confidence. I'm really passionate about supporting women to be more confident, to believe in themselves, to stand in their power, to reach for more than they've ever thought possible. Right? So I want to hear from you, and I want you to think about, what are you passionate about? What do you dream of? And how can you turn those passions and dreams into something to help others right now? One thing I did when COVID started, like literally within a couple of days of COVID started, I was inspired to start a new group on Facebook. It was called Be the Light, uplifting and inspiring stories from around the world, something like that. And I got 1,000 members in like 10 days or a week or something like that. It was insane because people were so desperate for positivity, right? And so I'm actually going to ask you guys for some suggestions, because I still have that group. It's been closed down, just like, I wasn't doing anything with it. So I just like archived it or whatever. So I still have the group, and I've been thinking about doing something with it again, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I want to empower women and, make it a place of like positivity and empowerment and things. So maybe you guys have some ideas on how to make that a space, for these times, challenging times. So anyways, let me know what you think. But if you're struggling with not knowing how to help, and knowing what lights you up and know what inspires you is going to help you to figure out how to help, right? So back in 2020, and I'm thinking about doing this again too, is everyone at that time was so bored, right? They went and bought sidewalk chalk, and everyone was like sidewalk chalking, right? Just for fun. Well, I did the same thing, but I made mine like really inspirational. Like I spread love on my sidewalk. You are loved. We're going to get through this. There is hope, different things like that. So I was spreading my message that was in my heart on my sidewalk outside my house, and people loved it. And then I shared it on Facebook, the pictures, so that people could see it and be inspired for their own thing too. And so you can make a difference by doing, it doesn't have to be this massive thing. It doesn't have to be that you're out there speaking or things like that. You can make a difference by just drawing some things on the sidewalk, right? Posting some memes. You can make a difference. Who you are as a person makes a difference. One of my favorite quotes is Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world. You know, we've all had that quote, and he heard that quote and he lived it, right? He had nonviolent protests and he was able to free India from British rule. He eased poverty. He supported women's rights and so much. He did so much in his lifetime. And he was a quiet introvert. He quietly made massive change and ripples across the world, right? He wasn't afraid to stand up for what he believed in and to use his voice and his body literally, right, in a way to protest against what he felt was not right. He stood up for others. He made a huge impact in a quiet way. One of his quotes was, in a gentle way, you can shake the world, right? So he was confident, but he was quietly confident. So I ask you today, how can you be the change that you wish to see in the world? People are suffering and they need what you've got. So when people are suffering, they really are looking for leaders, right? They're looking for confidence and clarity from their leaders and hope and light. You are the leader. You have what it takes inside of you. So how can you make a difference right now? It doesn't have to be big grand gestures, right? You could do some sidewalk chalking. You can write some notes to people that you know are making a difference and thank them for doing what they're doing in the world. You could put a large sign in your window at home so people walking by can see it and reminding them that they are love or that they are loved or that there's hope. Maybe you make a phone call to someone. Maybe you write Post-it notes and leave them around the grocery store when you go shopping. You know, spread love. It doesn't matter. I've done that before. A few years ago, after an election, there was a lot of hate, right? And I was like, how do I help people right now? Like, there's so much negativity being spread. And I had an idea to make little stuffed hearts that people could wear as pins. So I got a felt backing and I got cute little like heart fabric for the front. And I stuffed them up and I pinned little notes on there like, you are love and you are loved, and encouraged them to pay it forward and share an act of kindness with someone. So I would go to the grocery store and I would pull a little heart out for the checker, or I would just walk up to someone and give them a heart and give them a little love, or I would tie them on car windows as I was like walking through my neighborhood, you know, just little things to spread love. And that was so fun and people loved it. And it was like, it really lit them up and really gave them a lot of like hope and just spreading love, you know? So those are just different things that you can do, a few ideas, but whatever's on your heart, I encourage you to do it. Just get out there, put it out there, do it. So again, this is not a time to shrink back. It's time to spread your light. It's time to uplift and empower others and to grow your own confidence, because your confidence and message is more important than ever before. Okay. Smiling and waving at strangers. Yeah. Yeah. Just like laughing with people too, as you pass in the grocery store, you know, like a few weeks ago, I was at the grocery store and I put eggs in my cart, you know, and one guy walked by, he's like, "Ooh, you got the eggs." You know, it's like, well, yeah, you know, like just like kind of being silly and just, you know, laughing with people and, you know, got the eggs, you know, just different things like that. So just encourage you again to think about how can you help others during this time? How can you help one person? How can you help many? Sing randomly in the grocery store. That's awesome. I love it. Cool. So I'm going to share a couple of quick things with you. Like I mentioned earlier, I have my video series that I made a little while back. Oops, I just deleted it instead of copied it. Here we go. So you can grab my video series at the link that I'm posting there. And then I also have, if I'm also offering a call with me. So it's a Confident Woman call. It's free, no strings attached. I just want to support you in growing your confidence and taking you to the next level in helping you to shine your light. It could be that we talk about how do you help right now? You might be you might not be unsure. I mean, you might be unsure of like what you can do right now to help. We can talk about that. We can talk about anything you want. I'm going to help you, support you to grow your confidence, look at your vision, things like that. So if you'd like to book a call with me, type call into the chat, or you can private message me and I'll get you booked up for a call as well. And then the final thing I want to leave you with is my very favorite quote by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us, and it is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So that's it from me. Again, if you'd like to have a call with me, type call into the comments or call into the comments or send me a private message and I will be happy to set up a call with you. All right, that's it from me. Let me grab my notes again. And okay, last but not least, Jackie Cote. I'm gonna bring you up on screen, Jackie. Okay, there's Jackie. Let me read her bio. She's going to be talking about how to awaken, empower, and own you. Jackie Cote is your freedom mentor, international speaker, author, and RV adventurist, and the owner of Jackie Cote Coaching. Jackie mentors ambitious women to simplify their lives and achieve peace amongst the chaos by helping them prioritize what they truly enjoy over what weighs them down, so that they can create purpose-driven lives with more time, money, freedom, and love. Jackie is a Jersey girl at heart, loves to cook all food, especially Italian, is all about travel and experiencing life now before it's too late, has jumped out of a plane once and would do it again, and is known for making people cry, getting rid of unrealistic expectations, and quitting things that no longer serve them. Jackie's now living her freedom life out loud and proud on the road as a full-time nomad with her husband and 2 pups after leaving her 30 years of leadership management in the restaurant business. She loved mentoring hundreds of people to next levels in that career and now gets to do it her own way and have the freedom she truly desired. It's time for you to have the freedom life you truly desire too. Okay, Jackie, take it away.
My goodness, I'm so full. I'm not sure if I could fit anything else. You guys are so good. Thank you, Erin, for this opportunity. Really appreciate it. And being amongst these women is amazing. And thank you for those who are showing up and taking the time. When you invest the time into this, like time and money are both super valuable, right? And sometimes we think, oh, free, but when you take your time, that is super, super valuable. So we appreciate that. And so I'm Coach Jackie. Yeah, I'm here to really just kind of highlight everything that these women have been talking about when it comes to awakening self and empowering self and owning self. And I didn't realize until I got into this coaching world. I don't know about you, but I really had no idea what the coaching world was until about 6 years ago. I knew football coach, soccer coach, and then I was at this job after I was in my like 29th year of doing the restaurant industry, where I really loved working in the operations side. If you've ever done a restaurant business or restaurant job at any sort, you understand it's like hard work. It's a lot on your feet. It's a lot of hours, all that jazz. And I'd always get asked by my parents, like, why are you doing this? Like, do you make enough money to do all this work, right? You're working so much. But here's the thing. I woke up every day loving the fact that I got to help people see what they couldn't see, call that gift of belief up for them, and help them promote through the systems with companies like Starbucks and Outback and Kava and Potbelly and all these companies. I didn't realize what a passion. I started at 15 as a manager running a bakery in Jersey, which is really funny because that's illegal, but I didn't realize that till afterwards. A lot of things are done illegal in Jersey. So But I ended up like getting thrown the keys, and they saw something in me from that very moment. Like I could lead others, and I could help people see what like they just couldn't see. And so I would take these employees who'd come in at 16, 17, 18 years old, or people that come and didn't speak much English, and I'd help them move through the system and help them see that they could go to other levels, what was possible. They'd all make more money, they'd have different lives. The biggest joy was watching somebody who now could buy a home for their family and then have a family and all these things. And it really motivated me and drove me every day to get up and do what I did, no matter how tired or exhausting or this and that it was. And I think every now and then we all have to borrow someone's belief. So I'm really good at holding that belief for people and them borrowing it until they get there. And then they'd always get annoyed with me because I'd be like, all right, let's keep going. They're like, what? I got here, so can't I just, nope, let's keep going because there's so much potential. So I had the ability to awaken people and see that vision, that possibility, what that maybe that they just couldn't see, like I said, in themselves. And I love that. Until the last couple of years of that business, I took a challenge, right? Us as women were like, we like always want to challenge ourselves. It was getting too easy. So I was like, let me go try something in the corporate office. And I moved myself into a position that was in a corporate office behind a desk for about 50% of the time. And I don't know, I was being an animal. I was like an animal in a cage. Like I was like behind a desk, no longer with people, no longer doing what my gifts were, but I wanted to challenge myself. And for those 2 years in that last company I ever worked for in that industry, I basically I was unhappy, but we're us motivated, driven women. We're very want to fit the square into the circle. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it work, right? And I tried so hard. And it was the first time also in 30 years I didn't really like see eye to eye with the people I was working with. I never had challenges with working with people because I was in my gifts. I was in my light, as Erin said, right? I always made sure I was in that place. I was not in these 2 years, but I was going to make it work. I was going to figure it out, this and that. And then around June 2018, the coaching world passed my path. And I remember calling a friend because I saw him on Facebook. He was like happier than he'd ever been. And I laughed. I called him up. I was like, we need to have a meeting. So I booked a room, literally booked a room at work and did a meeting with him. And I was like, why are you so happy? Because I'm not happy right now. He goes, I met this thing called coaching. And imagine taking all the skills that you have in doing it in your own business and taking away all the BS of someone telling you what to do, telling you what you're worth, dictating your time, having to ask for permission to take any time off, all that jazz. I was like, this sounds way too good to be true, right? And so then he introduced me to a coaching company. I started the coaching schooling going, okay, I hadn't been in college since 1990. I'm 94, so I'm in the 50 range. I was like, let's go back and get some schooling done. Let's go look at some education. And I was going to take my time to build a business. 2 months later, God, universe, whatever you believe in, had a different plan. I walked in one day and I got let go from my job. I got fired. I was walked out like a criminal that day. And I just wasn't meeting expectations. And I was like, huh, why do I feel good? I'm walking out of the building. I just lost my income. It was the highest income I had ever made in my career. And I'm walking back to my car. And if any of you've ever been in Northern Virginia, I just did an hour and a half commute, and now they're telling and letting me go. Now I got to go do another hour and a half commute home. It's ridiculous in Northern Virginia, DC. But I was sitting there in the car, and I'm like, why do I feel happier than when I went in? And what I realized in that moment, I had experienced the coaching world. I experienced what's possible, what I could do. And by the way, anything's possible. If someone else can do it, so, like all of us can, right? So I saw these people in businesses and running coaching businesses. But again, I was going to take my time and just work my job and do the safe route. But in that moment, I realized how free I was. I was so awakened to what was possible. And now the chain that was holding me into this place, because I was never going to leave unless someone fired me. Have you ever been in a job for so long or a place that you're like, this is just what I know? And going back to what, everybody spoke about today, especially with, I'm going to say your name right, Philippa. Philippa, yeah, that's American. We can't say it right. You're right. Um, so um, I remember just being like, oh gosh, like I would never, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to figure it out. But that's all I knew. My blinders were on in that industry. And I realized at that moment, hold on a second, my blinders were off. I have other opportunities. I don't have to go back to this now. I would love to tell you I went home and I was like totally just dove into my business and built my 6-figure business right away. No, I didn't. I applied for other jobs and I went and went and went to interview. But every time someone offered me a job, which every interviewer offered me a job, I said no, because there was this inner knowing inside of me that knew, absolutely knew that I was meant to do this next stage and it was time to bet on me. But I didn't quite believe. I didn't quite believe until the last interview was this guy who was someone that worked with me at Potbelly. He was a regional director of a company. He was like, I already know how good you are. I'll hire you in a heartbeat. I didn't realize this interview was you until I got on the call. He's like, so I don't need to interview you. And he goes, but I gotta ask you a question because he knew like my energy. He knew like how motivated I am. He's like, what do you really want to do? And I was like, that's the weirdest interview question. Like, I was like, what do you mean? And I told him, I was like, well, I kind of met this coaching thing. And I was like, I kind of want to do this, blah, 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 blah. And I like went like threw up all over him, right? And he's like, well, he goes, how much money do you have? And I'm like, this is not appropriate. This is not an appropriate interview question. But he's like, how much money do you have saved up? So I explained, I was like, I was like, I was going to sell my house, cut my income, cut my expenses. I have this, so I could live for a year on my money that I had saved up and like the credit cards I had cleared out at the time. Because again, God, universe knew I had put myself in a position, but I didn't realize what that position was for because we don't always know how it's going to show up. And so he said, well, great. He goes, I'm not going to hire you today. And I was like, what? He's like, because I would have said yes to him in a heartbeat. He goes, I'm not going to hire you today. I want you to give it a shot in a year. And if that does not work, then come back to me. I'll give you a job without question. And I just had, and even more, so now I'm like free from the job, but now I'm free from my disbelief. I borrowed his belief in that moment. I needed to hear somebody like else to be like, yes, you've got this. And so that's why when we spoke earlier, so when I think it was Gina, like we spoke, we have a community. We need a community around us. We need people who like we can see what we can't see in us. You're not alone. So when he said that, I was like, all right, you're right. And I never applied for another job. And now I'm officially unemployable, by the way. I cannot go back to a job. When you were saying that earlier, I was like, oh, I wanted to like throw up. But that's just me. And someone thought that was a bad negative comment, by the way. When I said I'm unemployable, they were like, no, no, you are. I'm like, no, 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 it's a good thing. It's a good thing because now I understand that my gifts are not meant to be boxed up. So I was awakened to the fact of what was possible. I was awakened to the fact of what I was capable of. And now I was awakened by this guy who gave me the belief. So he empowered me. He empowered me in that moment to believe in myself and go for it and try it. Whether I had no idea like how or when it was going to happen or all of that. Like I hadn't even hired, like I was in a coaching schooling, but I hadn't hired my one-on-one coach yet or anybody like that to help mentor me. So I was in a group program. And, but I was like, well, it's time to bet on me. Well, I took 6 months off at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, I got to taste what this freedom thing is like first. And I had not taken more than a week off since I was a kid. And so fast forward, I took 6 months off. I traveled like 7 different places. And yes, I know some of it was just Jersey. It was like little trips on the East Coast. It was like little family trips and stuff. But I did it without having to ask for permission. And I empower the fact that I get to make the choices, that I get to decide what's going on and next. I get to go where I want to go. And once I did that, there was absolutely no going back because I never wanted to lose that empowerment of self in that moment. And so fast forward, that catapulted me. I got my first one-on-one coach February 2019. And I said to her, I said, and I know you guys, the women are going to giggle at this one. I said, okay, teach me everything you know. You've got a business. That's what I want. I want a business helping people. She was a coach. She helped with them business and blah, blah, blah. And she just kind of giggled and she's like, okay. And then for the next 9 months, I cried on my bed for 9 months straight. I was cracked open like a walnut. I found all of the things that I didn't realize that were in me that needed to be healed so that I could do the business. And I thought, just give me a strategy. I will execute. I will do to have, right? I will do the actions to make the money. Well, that's not how it works here. We have to learn, we have to understand that it's the belief in self, the belief in what it is that our vision is. And first of all, I didn't even have a vision. I remember when the first coach asked me, like, well, what do you want? What do you want to do? I was like, I need to make money because I don't have a job. I need to like pay my bills. Like that's as big as my vision was. But I knew that there was more. And the more and more that I like dove into the inner work, cracked open and healed the wounds and all the other things, which I didn't even understand what all that was 6 years ago, right? I realized that there's so much 80% of this is between our two ears. It's between what every woman here today was talking about. That's the work that will help us do the 20% strategy. The strategy is the easy part. And so now I'm awakened to this. They help me with the vision, right? I got this vision, but you have to have a vision for your brain to think differently. And we have three places we can live in the vision, right? We can say in the past that we can't change. And how many of us have done that before where we're like, oh, stuck in the past of like challenges and stuff like that, or well, this happened, so I don't want that to happen again, so we can't make that decision. Well, that's one place we can live, but we can't change it, so why bother? The other two places you can live in the future worries and fears, and these our mindset, like what Gina was talking about, was so strong that we can develop a story of our fears that our body feels it. And then Philippa was talking about the inner body doesn't lie. Like our body can totally believe that that story is absolutely true, no matter how like crappy it is, and we could like we will not move forward. But if our brain is that powerful, if our body and mind is that powerful to create that story, imagine what it can do with the vision of what's possible and what we can create and where we can go. And so when I heard that we can't change the past, we can't control the future. So which one's more fun to live in? The future vision of what's possible or the future vision of like fears, doubts, worries, all the other stuff? So I was like, that's way more fun. I don't know about you, but if it's not fun, I ain't doing it. So I started living in that place. I started like, so now my vision's awakened. Well, what is this empowerment thing that people are throwing around me? Well, empowering is everything, empowering the fact that you get to choose your thoughts. You get to switch those thoughts. You get to make, when you said grounding earlier, I was so giddy because last year my dad went through dementia and I had to take care of him. My dad has dementia and I went to take care of him for a couple months. And I can't tell you that grounding was the number one thing that saved my life during those couple months that I helped him. I would go out, he'd laugh at me because during the day he'd laugh at me and I'd go out in like December weather in Jersey, freezing cold grass. And I'm like, I'm standing in it. And he's like, you're crazy. And I was like, Dad, you used to work construction in the winter in a t-shirt. Come on now. But it would calm my nervous system. And when I talk about empowerment, like that, I get to make that choice. I could sit there and be like, live in the moment of like, this is horrible and this is so hard and can't believe my dad's going through this and want. Or I can go check myself, ground myself. So as we learn all these things that everyone's teaching, empower yourself to make the choice that you have the control, you have the power, you are capable of it all. And so oh my gosh, it is a personal growth thing on steroids. Absolutely, Erin. I thought like I'm sorry, like yeah, it's a growth plan with like money compensation on the back end, right? Like the growth plan comes first and compensation on the back end. But so empowering, when I talk about awakening vision, when I'm talking about empowering, I'm talking about as you are aware and awaken to the things that you get to do and you get to take control of and you get to empower that. It's boundaries. And I'm not saying anything you probably haven't heard before, but it's taking like understanding that you are in control of it. You get to choose. Now, let me just caveat that word control because I remember thinking I was the I got it girl. Like ever since I was 7, I took care of myself, paid for everything my whole life. And so when it came to like 15 on cars, colleges, and stuff. So I thought I was fiercely independent and in control. What I forgot and didn't realize is we have a higher power that's always supported us. And we've got people who are dying to support us around us. And yet I was like, nope, I got it. I don't need any help. I don't need it. I'm doing this thing alone, like proud of it. And empowerment is understanding the vulnerability and that authenticity is being vulnerable, that you get to get support, you get to be supported, you get to have others. And some people, I used to look at that as a weakness. That is a strength. And so there's so many pieces to how you can empower yourself. But here's the piece I want to make sure I hit on in the last few minutes here is the owning. So you've got the vision, you're aware, you're awakened to what it is, what you want to what you want to create. And we've got our vision boards and all the things. But the the sorry, the empowerment part. Sorry, I was trying to read the chat. Don't read the chat, Jackie. Hold on. The owning part is actually taking like all of these layers, and this is the part that I feel like I am finally embodying 6 years in of doing this work. And I teach people this, and how many of us still need someone else to help us, because obviously we can teach it, but we still need it. We still need that mentor to help us. I'm owning the fact that I am the magic and everything inside of me, and all I've got to do is continue to peel back or strip off the layers, peel back the layers, whatever analogy you use, and discover what it is that I get to shine in the world, to what Erin was saying in her talk, and owning that. So an example of that recently for me is that I always try to fit in strategy and money making because it's sold better, right? That's what we're told. Like, this sells better. Here's the truth that I just had 2 weeks ago. Just had the epiphany. I own the fact that I'm not the doing coach. I'm the being coach. I'm here to help mentor you to be who you are 1000%, no matter what. And I can help you see what it is that's holding you back from really truly owning and hearing that inner knowing, believing and knowing, so that you can have the experience of a freedom life you desire. But I kept trying to fit in all my programs all over the years. Like, okay, strategy sounds better and money this. And I kept feeling resistance. And I was successful at it, but to a level. But you want to break that level? Own you fully. And when you discover those pieces about you that you're like, oh, but will they get it? Will it sell? If it's your true gift and your true light, it will. And you got to trust that. And so by owning yourself, is you're trusting yourself and your higher power, and you're standing in that truth no matter what. Now, is that a lifetime journey? Absolutely. Did I discover like 7 things over the last 5 weeks as I'm writing my book with my editor? Absolutely. My editor is like shining so much light on I was reading a chapter to her. She's like, "You've never grieved the death of your mom at 5." And I was like, grief isn't a word in my dictionary. Never realized that until we had the conversation, until she listened and she was able to reflect back what she was hearing that I couldn't see. Because let me tell you this, we're stuck in a bottle, right? You've all heard this, you probably heard the saying, we're stuck in the jar and the label is out here. We cannot read it ourselves. We have to let somebody else help us read the ingredients and see what we can't see. And that's why I'm shining my light, Erin, by speaking more and more and sharing this message, so that, again, so I can be on platforms with women like this, so that we can all help you do the same and own your magic, like, every moment, every day. Love you guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much,
and
Jack.
I'll drop a freebie in the thing. Sorry.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna drop a link to my links. Like, so I always tell people, if they want to get to know me more, just come to Facebook. It's my digital diary. It's really if you want to get to know my travels and all the different things. So I'll drop a link to follow me there. But then I have a intentional goal setting that I do, and it's like it's one tool that helps you open up the vision of setting your goals for the month, but through intentionality versus like SMART goals. SMART goals to me were always like, there was something missing when we did that in corporate America. This will teach you how to do it with more meaning, feeling, enjoy the whole journey to the goal.
Nice. Thank you so much. And for all the rest of the speakers too, please drop your links or your emails, whatever you're gonna do for your free gift. Put that in the chat again so everyone has it right here at the end. Okay. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for all the speakers. Thank you for everyone for being here. Remember, I'm also offering a free Confident Woman call to talk about expanding yourself, your vision, your confidence, how to spread the light. We can talk about that. And then I'll drop my free gift as well again, the free speaker series. And let's see. If you enjoyed the call today, we do this every month. So the next one is April 3rd, same time, 1 to 2:30 Pacific. So make sure that you check your email. If you're on the list for this one, you're on the list for all of them unless you want to get off at the list. So you will get the information for next month. Again, it's April 3rd. Mark your calendars. Spread the word. Tell all your friends and invite them as well. If you're not in the Facebook group, come join us in the Facebook group as well. And until then, we'll see you on Facebook and we'll see you in the group. I forgot to put my spotlight back. So everyone, thank you so much for coming, and we will hopefully see you next month. Thank you so much. And we'll have the speakers down for just a minute. And if everyone else could sign off, that would be awesome. But again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you so much. We'll see you next month. Have a great one in between. Okay.